Well, it's Wednesday. You all know what that means. As you probably know, AEW Dynamite happened right after Grand Slam. But the real question is, what's next from there? Well, they do have an AEW International Series. Who will walk out to face Konosuke Takeshita? Will it be, of course, Roderick Strong or Orange Cassidy? And we have various other matches taking place as well. But first things first, we're going to be doing three other reviews coming from Japan. The first one was ChocoPro number 429 that took place this past Valentine's Day. And then we move on, of course, with Sendai Girls on the 16th of February at the SendaiPIT, featuring many matches. And then, of course, we got Stardom in Fuji, which also took place on the 16th of February. And then we, of course, we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, what's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world, pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, I can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, with all pleasantries done, let's hit the highway. So let's begin with our very first review, and this is from ChocoPro. All right, ChocoPro number 429. Now, this particular event happened on Valentine's Day on February 14th, but was not uploaded on their YouTube channel until the 15th, the following day. So, of course, we had Mei Shruga opening the show, giving the fans the greetings and the info on the matches that were taking place. But let's begin with our first match. Our first match is a three-way match. We have Hajime versus Shin Suzuki versus Balinaki. Now, it's no secret, some of you, that there's been a bit of a rivalry between Shin Suzuki and Balinaki for quite some time when Balinaki was the Super Aged Champion about a couple years ago. But it seems that never fades away. But this match ended with an impressive submission by Balinaki when he put both Hajime and Suzuki with a, of course, with a double submission on them, and just like that, they had no choice but to tap. Our next match, we have Sayaka and Mochi Natsumi taking on Sayaka Obihira, or as we call her now, Obi, and Colors Saki. So it's a very interesting combination, of course. I mean, Mochi and Sayaka, I'm sure they'll get along great, but you look at the perspective of Obi and Saki, they're both have more experience than these two ladies combined. But unfortunately, it was Obi who picked up the win when she tried to use her unusual maneuvers onto Sayaka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match, this one was a very interesting but fun match for me. We have Kaho Hirumi teaming up with Rina Yamashita, taking on Miya Yatsuba and Mei Suruga. Now, I don't know exactly what was going on, but it appears that Rina Yamashita seems to like Kaho for some reason, because if you look up Kaho and Mei Suruga, they are almost similar alike, but Mei Suruga, she likes to play a little dirty. That's why I call her the little slide devil. But Kaho, she is a very sweet little girl that you probably would think, oh, she's going to find ways to make a smile out of you. And that's exactly what happened. But of course, there'll be moments between May and Kaho. They always will clash. I mean, which is what we normally see. But unfortunately, Mei Suruga once again got the upper hand with Kaho with another submission. And just like that, she had no choice but to tap. Now for the Jonkin tournament. Now, I want to put something out on a note. If anybody did see this particular show with Got to Move, you may have noticed in the Jonkin tournament there was one person missing in this entire um, tournament, and that is, of course, Kaho. According to Balinaki, that she had to leave early to go home. Those who know this, Kaho is still a kid, and of course, she probably has to go home because she has to go to bed and go to school. She's still a kid, so just put that out there. But you probably ask yourselves, who the hell won the Jonkin tournament? Well, the person that won was none other than Saki herself. So yeah, Balian or May did not actually made it through, but Saki was the one who won the chocolate. So, but she gave the chocolate to a fan instead. So I thought it was real cute of her to do that. So I think that's pretty much it with ChocoPro. Let's move on with, of course, with Sendai Girls. Okay, Sendai Girls. They were at the SendaiPIT on the 16th of February that took place this past Sunday. So we opened up with Aya Sakura versus Yuna from Yuna. Now, keep in mind, around the same time, Stardom were also having their event, while Aya Sakura had to go to Sendai for this event, just to let you guys know. So it was a pretty good match. Of course, I'm sure that these two are trying to build up an impression in hopes to challenge once again for the Sendai Girls Junior World Championship that currently is in the hands of Chi-Chi. But it was Aya Sakura with the modified triangle lancer onto Yuna that allowed her to pick up the win. Then she put out, of course, a post-match promo. Have no idea, but it seems now that her path is becoming clear. That's what she was saying after what happened between her and Kurara in that tag match. But we'll see how that rolls up. Now, our next match, we have the ladies from Marvelous, Senka Akatsuke and Rika Kawahara. They take on Yuta Suzuki and Yurio Mizunami. Now, of course, the factor you would think is Senka Akatsuki. She's the rookie of the event. Mostly, you would think in the back of your heads, oh, she's going to take the fall. I mean, yes, that's normally what we've seen in these type of matches when it comes to Japanese wrestlers. But however, this match ended with, of course, Rico with a German suplex onto Suzuki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match, we have Zones all the way from Evolution, taking on Dash Izako. Now, luckily, there was no hardcore moments in this match. I mean, Dash has been dubbed as the queen of hardcore, and it's not a statement. She's always been declared that. I mean, she's not a deathmatch wrestler, in case anybody asks, but she's into the hardcore stuff. But luckily, it was her who picked up the win when she first applied a Northern Light suplex and then a frog splash. Then 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Maria teaming up with Yurika Oka. Now, it's interesting. Those who know this, Miyu Momono is currently out of action. She'll be gone for nearly 3 to 6 months due to a torn on her elbow. And of course, she had Maria kind of be like a substitute of, let's just say, a modified version of Bobo Momo Banana. I mean, I would say Maria is capable of standing on her own, but the fact is, she's not Miyu Momono, just to put it out there. But but they have their work cut out, taking on Chi Chi and, of course, Suri. So it's a very interesting matchup, how you probably would see it just by watching this. But we have seen Chi Chi has grown significantly since she debuted. Suri, well, we know she's trying to bounce back after losing two belts from from two companies, and now she's stepping up. But she was able to pick up the win with a Ironagi on Oka, and just like that, it was over. Then Chi Chi applied a post-match promo, but Aya Sakura once again is issuing a challenge for the junior title, so we'll see where that leads us from there. So we'll just have to wait and see. Now, our main event, we have Manami. She teams up with Big Hash, Chihiro Hashimoto. They take on Red Energy, Miyuki Takase, and Mika Iwata. So you probably would think, okay, Manami and Hashimoto. You would think, okay, how would this play out? Because we know that these two ladies are part of the Sendai Girls, but they're not normal tag partners. In case anybody asks, but Red Energy, they have gone on very, very well. But luckily, it was Iwata with a driver onto Manami, and just like that, it was over. However, we did see Chi Chi coming out. It appears that she is challenging for the tag belt, and it turned out that her tag partner is going to be Suri. Now, some of you may ask, why would she team up with Suri? Easy. Suri gave her high praises. Not to mention, she even invited her for her self-produced shows, Suriism, a few times, and she teamed up with her. And not to mention, it was Suri who taught her how to use the Uranagi as a last resort in her matches. So it would make sense. But however, it appears that YUNA hasn't forgotten that they don't like Chi Chi because she is not from the Sendai Girls branch. So basically, it seems like she's teaming up with both Red Energy. I'm not sure if Red Energy will transition now into from a tag team to a stable. That's the thing, I don't know. But it would be interesting to see that. But for now, we'll leave things as it is and move on with Stardom. Okay, Stardom in Fuji. This took place also on the 16th of February at the same time as Sendai Girls, in case anybody asks. Now, this match opened up with trios action. We have the rookie Yuria Him teaming up with the Cosmic Angel members Yuna Mizumori and Natsupoi, taking on star members Koguma Azuki and Mayu Iwatani. So, of course, this was going to be a little interesting. Now, just by looking at this match, you would think, okay, Yuria Him will be most likely be the one to take the fall because she's the rookie. Now, this match was surprisingly won by Azuki when she pinned Mizumori. I mean, Mizumori, I know she has not been in a good place since she was unable to win the number one contendership for the high speed belt. So basically, it was a sad loss for her, but however, it was a celebration for Stars when they decided to celebrate, of course, in the post match for the happy birthday of Mayu Iwatani. So it was a nice gesture for them. Our next match, we have a three-way. We have Akira Kuragane versus Rian versus Fukigen Death. Now, of course, you have two bit of the rookies involved in this match versus a veteran wrestler. But however, you cannot deny that you have Fukigen Death, who has been known to be a high speedster, and that will be her way to pick up the win. And that's exactly what she did because she's building up momentum for her upcoming high speed match against Meisita, and she was able to pick up the win with Kuragane with the O'Connor roll, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match, we have Godzai, Kiyako Kotatsu, and Tomoka Inaba of Godzai. They take on High Mate, Hanako, and Micah of EXV. Now, what's interesting about this match, those who don't know this, Micah and Tomoka Inaba were trained by the same instructor, and you guys know him. Those who've been around during the Attitude Era, we're talking about Taka Michinoku. That's right, these two are Taka Michinoku's students, and they're like sisters in some capacity, and not to mention, both these ladies, in fact, are capable of using the Michinoku driver. But it's interesting to those two to meet up, but unfortunately, it was Kotatsu who suffered the loss in the hands of Micah, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match, we have Godzai members consisting of Lady C, Hina, and of course, they face against the Neo Genesis Miyu Misaki and Meisira versus Star members Momokogo and Hanan. Now, of course, there's nothing too significant about this, but there are some factors. If you look at Misaki, she will be defending her future belt against Hina, and not to mention Meisira, it wants to challenge for the Goddesses tag belts, so that kind of plays out. But it was Amasaki that was able to pick up the win by pinning Hina, and just like that, it was over. But during the post-match promo, Amasaki had some words to say to Hina, and then of course Meisira had some things to say to both Wingori, consisting of Hanan and Sayaida. So we'll see what happens. Our next match, we have the members of Hate, Rina, Raka, Konami versus Neo Genesis, Suzuki, Azumi, Starlight Kid. Now, of course, many of you may wonder what's the significance of this match. Those who know this, Rina issued a challenge for the white belt, and that's always been the case because Rina, on the other hand, Sayuri Anu wanted to make another play for the white belt, but Rina's like saying, "Hey, bitch, this is my moment, so get off." So that's what she was intending to do. Rina's nothing but a spoiled brat. But however, she had this match almost won if it wasn't for the time limit draw after 20 minutes. Now, I don't know what Rina said to Starlight Kid, not to mention she spit at her face. But sooner or later, Starlight Kid's gonna give her a ass whooping of a lifetime, for what she is. Because I know Starlight Kid has always been fond of her, and not to mention she looked at her as a little sister. But we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, we have the Cosmic Angels, Sayaka Kurara, Sayuri Anu, and Tam Nakano versus Hate members Azusa Inaba, Natsuko Tora, and Saya Kamitani. Now remember, Tam Nakano and Kurara will team up to face against Saya Kamitani and a partner for choosing. And the partner she chose is, of course, Hate's very own Natsuko Tora. Now remember, the stipulation of that match that will happen on the 24th, it would feature, of course, if Tam Nakano wins, she'll get an opportunity of the red belt of her choosing. But however, if Tam and Kurara failed, well, Kurara has to join Hate, which is something that, of course, there's fans who don't want to see her go, others that don't. But of course, you'll see some moments that Tam was trying to get in the head of Kamitani, but of course, it was not Tam who won the match, neither Kamitani did. It was Sayuri Anu with the attempts Tendra onto, of course, Inaba, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And then, of course, the Cosmic Angels had the privilege to close out the show, and not to mention Sayuri Anu, who is always looking out for Kurara, is giving her some words of advice, knowing too well there's a lot at stake, and I don't think Sayuri Anu would want to see Kurara leave one way or the other. She wants her to stay. So we'll see what happens down the road on the 24th. But for now, we'll end things here with Stardom and move on with AEW Dynamite. Okay, AEW Dynamite. It opened up with a face-to-face confrontations between Hangman Page and MJF. Now, of course, MJF, as you know, has been in a position where he feels the staying where he could be declared as a one-hit wonder due to the fact that he will not get another opportunity of the AEW World Title, but Hangman is looking for ways. So of course you'll see both men will try to push their buttons. Not to mention MJF said something about Christopher Daniels to get under the skin of Hangman, but of course Christopher Daniels tried to reason with Hangman Page that this is what he's been talking about. Like he wants him to be the man that he wanted him to be, but we'll see what happens down the road. Now, the patriarchy making their presence known, Christian Cage, Hook, and Kip Sabian taking on the opposition, or just known as Ops, consistent of Hook, Katsuyori Shibata, and Samoa Joe. Now, of course, this was a fun match. I mean, we did see the tripping moments and all that. And of course, we were going to see Christian Cage's tactics, but unfortunately, Christian has the unfortunate to see his so-called son getting red run by Hook, and of course he had to watch like the idiot that he is. And Nick had no choice but to tap out from Hook. So just like that, a bit of retribution for Hook. Now we did see a little interview with Chris Jericho. As you know, he still some had animosity towards Bandito, so he told Brian Keith that he will show him how the bounty is going to be done. So we'll see how that goes. Now, speaking of Chris Jericho, as you know, Big Bill ends up in a street fight against Powerhouse Hobbs. Now, of course, there was going to be a lot of plunder. I mean, you got tables, ladders, and chairs, whatever plunder you can find. But the real question, who's going to come out on top? That's always been the real question. But it was Powerhouse Hobbs who applied a power bomb onto Big Bill, tossing him into a barbed wire table. However, the count S happened after 10. Big Bill couldn't get out of it because he was stuck with the barbed wires. While referee Aubrey Edwards make the count, it was over. But you, but you got to ask yourself: is this really over between Hobbs and Big Bill? Well, we'll see what happens. Now, we did see, of course, an interview with Renee talking to Murder Machine, consistent of Lance Archer and Brian Cage. Now, of course, they made a bold statement on the Hurt Syndicate. It seems now they want to make a play for the AEW World Tag Team belts, so they're calling them forward at Collision this coming Saturday. So we'll see what happens. Now, Justin Roberts gave some awesome news for everybody. You may have heard it too. Double or Nothing will be returning back to Phoenix on May 26th for Double or Nothing. So this was around the time Double or Nothing is going to take place, and I'm sure the people of Phoenix are happy it's going to happen. So, we can't wait to see. Now, Toni Storm comes out to do her usual promo. I don't know what's next for her, but yeah, that's going to be fun. Then we see another interview with Renee talking to Nagil. Apparently, she's not happy what Marina Shafir did and all this and that. But, however, of course, Marina attacked her, and then Jon Moxley, as you know, he is still on a temper tantrum because he's not too keen on the idea of what he just did, giving Cope the ability for a shot of the AEW World Title. But Jay White showed up, knowing Jon Moxley now realizing that this was an ambush by Cope and attacked. But of course, Moxley ran like the coward he is. But Cope told him that because of the interference by the members of the Death Riders with Yuta, Pac, and that idiot Claudio Castagnoli, well, he said he's going to take them out one by one. So I can't wait to see how that happens. So we'll just wait and see. And I'm sure Jay White will help him out to do so. Now, our next interview, we do see Renee Paquette talking to Mercedes Moné, congratulating her on the win against, what's her name? Harley Cameron. So she's probably happy that she got that out of the way. But however, when she thought she had things already planned out, it appeared there was an interview made back in Australia during the Grand Slam. It seems that Momo Watanabe had some words to say, and they showed the clip. And Momo said that she wants the TBS title at Revolution. Now, of course, Mercedes Moné was not happy with the whole thing, but she did tell her that that she wants her to say that in her face next week or this Saturday. I'm not sure, but yes. So we'll see. Now, our next match, we have Kris Statlander versus Megan Bayne. As you probably can guess, Megan Bayne put Kris Statlander on notice, and this is what led. So basically, it's more like the battle of who is the strongest. However, this match could have won by Kris Statlander if it wasn't for Penelope Ford, and then of course Megan Bayne applied like the F5 on her, and just like that, it was over. But as soon as it was over, there was a beatdown on Statlander until Thunder Rosa showed up. So basically, Thunder Rosa has some issues towards Megan Bayne, so we'll see where that goes from there. Now, Renee talks to Max Caster once again. He decides to do an open challenge in Collision. Now, I don't know if that's wise, but that's what he's asking for. Now, Ricochet once again makes a promo in the ring and talks as always, but Prince Nana has been demanding for him to return the robe that he stole from them, but Ricochet is not going to do that because he's not playing games either. So we'll see where that goes. Now, our next match, which is our main event, which is the Revolution International Series, Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy, two former international champions. So, who was going to walk out? I have to say it was a pretty good match. But, however, it was Orange Cassidy walked away with the orange punch, and just like that, it was over. But Tony Schiavone decided to step in the ring to give a comments towards him. But before he can say anything, that snake of the grass, Don Callis, showed up, tried to send a message. I'm sure he still hasn't forgotten what Orange Cassidy did to Trent Seven. Then, of course, Konosuke Takeshita showed up along with Mark Davis, but luckily Kenny showed up. So we'll see what happens until then. Now remember, Orange Cassidy will challenge Takeshita this coming Wednesday, while Kenny will challenge whoever walks out as the Internet Champion at Revolution. So we'll see where that goes. But for now, we are officially done with our reviews. Let's move on with news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin, of course, with upcoming events with the promotions. As always, let's begin with GCW. As you know, GCW will be here in San Diego on the 28th of February for I Feel So. It was announced that Starboy Charlie will take on Drew Parker. Then the following day, they'll be making their way back to LA for the Coldest Winter 3. Zack Sabre Jr. will take on his fellow British comrade, Drew Parker, as well. That's going to be a very interesting match. Then on the 30th of March in St. Louis, America's Most Wanted, Mance Warner will be taking on Gary J. And then, of course, we have the Las Vegas show on the 19th of April, Effie's Big Gay Brunch 10. They announced Sunny Kiss, Brick Savage, Billy Dixon, and Zico will be involved. Now for some Revolution Pro or RevPro updates here as well. On the 16th of March, they'll have their event called Epic Encounter. The undisputed British tag team titles will be defended. Connor Mills and Jay Joshua will take on the Young Guns. And then on the 20th of April, the high stakes Mercedes Moné will be making her appearance. And it's that time of year again. The British J Cup makes its return on the 14th of June. So I can't wait to see. They haven't announced wrestlers who will be involved yet, but we'll see what happens. Now, as always, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling for their Mayhem event that will take place between the 14th and the 15th in Ontario. Two names have been announced: Stu Grayson and the Sauce Alex Zane. So that's going to be a lot of fun. West Coast Pro, West Coast Best Coast on the 22nd of March. They announced Marcus Mathers versus Timothy Thatcher. Then we have the West Coast Pro World title on the line. Kevin Blackwood versus Trevor Lee, better known as Cameron Grimes. Then we have another participating part for the MLW Battle Ride on the 5th of April in LA. We got Hechi Seto, so that's going to be a lot of fun. New Japan will make its way back to Chicago for Windy City Riot. On the 11th of April, they just announced Mina Shirakawa will be making their presence. And then finally, on the 16th of April in Cork and Hall, Fortune Dream 10. As you guys remember, I reported that Suri and Meiko Satomura will team up. They will take on Team 200 kilograms, you and Chihiro Hashimoto. So that's going to be a very interesting match to look into. Now to some developments. Penta recently was involved and was appearing in Sheamus's podcast show, the Celtic Warrior Workout, and he revealed to Sheamus that he's been wrestling with a torn bicep in 3 years, which surprised him. But at the same time, he told him he hasn't got that fixed yet. So it's kind of interesting that he has been fighting injured this entire time, and I'm sure Sheamus is like, "Wow, I can't believe he's doing it. I mean, he's crazy or what?" Yeah. Now, JCW has announced that Mance Warner, due to conflict schedule, he's unable to participate in a match on the Ashes to Ash event on the 15th of May against Slade, but they will announce for a replacement for him, and that's to be announced. New Japan has reported that Taiji Ishimori has withdrawn from Fantasticamania, but he's replaced by Bone Soldier Jr. Now, remember, Soldier is part of course, of New Japan of Bullet Club. So yeah, we'll see where that goes from there. Now, finally, our Fightful Select reports. TKO reported they have purchased the rights of Lucha Underground. Yes, folks, you heard me right. They purchased the right of Lucha Underground. It appears that there's been talks about a potential revival under the WWE umbrella. Now, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know how they would do it better, but I feel like they kind of could have done better, like in certain aspects, but we'll see. And then finally, Kevin Knight has been, as you all know, Kevin Knight uh, was supposed to be resigning, that he was going to be out of New Japan contract, but however, he's been meeting with Tony Khan and Rock Romero, but he's also been weighing on WWE. Now, that's something I don't know if WWE has any interest in him, but we know that he appeared in TNA in the past. I don't know if there's any stipulation about that, if that's going to helpful, but we'll see what happens from there. But for now, we'll end things here with our news updates, and we just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have, of course, TNA with and Ring of Honor, since it's going to be a Thursday, so that's going to be a lot of fun to look into. But we'll see what happens. But for now, I haven't decided if there's anything else. But until then, however, I'm planning to do another Unagi Sayaka watch. But this one's a very interesting one that I discovered, and I think many of you don't want to miss it. So if you guys are Unagi Sayaka fans, stay tuned for that, because this one is going to be special that you guys are going to hear this one. Nothing bad or serious, but something you'll be touched by. So we'll see what happens. For right now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.